Welcome back to the weekly recap. I'm Matt Wacker. In a move that I think surprised many of us, Missouri Governor Eric Greitens called a special press conference on May 29th to announce his resignation. Lieutenant Governor Mike Parson will take over on June 1st. Parson was the keynote speaker at Lebanon's Memorial Day ceremony in Mount Rose Memorial Park. Additionally, the Army Band from Fort Leonard Wood performed, and a picnic lunch was provided to all of those in attendance. When you read a book written by Mary Young, you'll likely recognize the culture of mid-Missouri. Young writes from her home overlooking the Hoosiaw Creek in Davisville and says she draws inspiration from the nature all around her. Her memories of visiting Red Bluff Campground as a child prompted her to move back to the area and write children's books. Leanne Mentink visited Young at her home to chat about Pucky Huddle books.
Mary, what prompted you to write children's books?
Well, as a child, I used to make up stories for my little sisters, and it was always fun. And when I was a teacher, I read so many books that some I liked, some I didn't, and my dream has always been to write children's books.
How did you come up with the name Pucky Huddle Books?
Well, Davisville, the town I live in, the nickname is Pucky Huddle. And ever since I was a child, I went camping at Red Bluff, and ever since I was born. And so I thought, when I start writing my children's books, I'm going to call them Pucky Huddle Books. And so I did. And that's how they got the name. And my symbol is the little water pump, because the pump down at the campground has just always been special to me ever since I was a child.
Your books are literally inspired by this area.
They are. They are. They just, the trees speak to me, the water, the rain, the river, just the moon, the stars. I always seem to have the seasons running through my stories. Just anything outside. I spent a lot of time outside as a child, and most of my stories are about nature.
Speaking of nature, how much does the place where you live inspire you? This is a beautiful home and property.
Well, I didn't start writing children's books until I lived here, so it inspires me in every way. I can look out the window and just, it never looks the same.
In what way do the subjects of your books relate to children?
Well, my subjects often are animals, and children love animals. Raindrops that go through the water cycle, and trees that have feelings, or birds that want to do things their own way and not listen to what their mother tries to teach them. One of my first stories, Rusty, actually, he's fishing now, and he said, I'm going to go fishing. And I said, I think I'll write a story about a fish. He went down to the creek, and I went down to my computer. He got home, I printed it out and said, here's my new story, and he said, I love it. And it turned out to be a story about bullying.
Do you illustrate your own books?
Well, at first I didn't. I had 5 different illustrators, and the Osage book that they asked me to do, I had an illustrator, and he took 3 months to do one picture, and I calculated it would take 7 years to finish that book. And then Glenn, who built the monument, the Osage Monument in Cuba, Missouri, he inspired me to just give it a try myself. I did, and I made it a coloring book, and I just drew the pictures with the mouse on my computer, and it was so much fun. So I'm going to just make all the rest of my stories coloring books.
How are kids different after they read a Mary Young book?
Hopefully they want to just go outside and play and enjoy their surroundings, enjoy nature, and take a walk, take a hike, bug their parents to take them camping. Climb a tree, go fishing. Stories can open the world to children. It can show them where they want to go and what they want to become. Many people, as adults, they would rather do nothing more than sit down and enjoy a good book. And if we can instill that in young children to enjoy reading, then they have the whole world open to them.
There was an explosion in St. James on the night of May 29th, the cause of which is still under investigation. According to the St. James Fire Protection District, the explosion completely destroyed a garage and damaged a home on the same property. Several surrounding houses also suffered damage. The Doolittle Rural Fire Protection District responded to an accident over Memorial Day weekend on Highway T in Newburgh. According to a post on social media, first responders found a critically injured man trapped inside a Ford Mustang. It took an hour to extract his body. He was flown to University of Missouri Medical Center for treatment. Lebanon was the place to be during Memorial Day weekend as the Warriors circled the wagons once again for Wagons for Warriors. Good food, great music, and Old Glory waving in the air as thousands paid tribute to our veterans.
My name is Sergeant First Class Dana Bowman. I'm with Wagons for Warriors right here in Lebanon, Missouri. It's my proud honor to be out here to parachute in and land on target for this crowd. It's about giving back to our warriors, veterans, and soldiers, and it means an awful lot to come out here for Steve and his teammates that do nothing but good. Imagine what the sacrifice of that jump was today to bring that American flag in and land on this little postage stamp here with way over thousands of people here. Incredible. But you know what? That sacrifice of leaping from that helicopter today was only one small sacrifice for what our veterans, soldiers, and warriors have done for us. We can't forget the selfless sacrifice of them, and a lot of those World War II, Vietnam veterans, the Korean War veterans, Iraqi, Afghanistan, Desert Storm, they're all here today. And they bring the communities in with the kids because our kids are our future. Maybe we need to educate them a little bit about it. Yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. It means respect. Without what they've done for us, we wouldn't have our freedom. Remember what they do each and every day. Support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America first and foremost. Me being a proud honor with Wagons for Warriors.
A West Plains man faces 8 felony charges after alleged thefts that include a golf cart and a delivery truck. 48-year-old John Watson was arrested at his home on May 24th. This story begins at a West Plains golf course where officers found Watson's Ford van stuffed with rims and artificial turf. Watson allegedly drove a golf cart to West Plains Beverage, where he then forced his way in through some metal siding, jumped into the cab of a 2007 International delivery truck, and took off with $3,500 worth of snacks. When confronted at his home, Watson told officers he didn't remember much, then directed them to a wooded area where the truck had been parked. Bail was set at $10,000. The West Plains Pool is still looking for lifeguards this season. Here to tell us more is Dylan Lorenzen with Lauren Kaufman and Grace Pietrovirgo.
Thanks, Matt. I'm here at the West Plains Public Pool with Lauren and Grace. Lauren and Grace, how long have you each worked here?
I've been here for 4 years.
And this is my second year.
All right, how do you guys like it here?
I love working at the pool. It's so fun. You're outside all the time. You get to play with kids. It's warm. It's just a really good environment.
It's a blast. You get to know all the lifeguards really well and just get to kind of hang out with your friends at work.
All right. Now, what exactly does it take to be a lifeguard?
We have classes that you have to take and pass before you can be a lifeguard. Just a few of the requirements are you have to swim 200 meters, you've got to get a 10-pound brick off the bottom of the pool, and you have to tread water for 2 minutes with your wrist above the water line. And then there's a few other medical skills that you have to learn, such as CPR and how to operate basic medical equipment, and just get you prepared for anything that could happen here at the pool.
All right. Now, when is lifeguard training?
We usually offer several classes during the summer. We like to continue hiring lifeguards throughout the summer for anybody who is interested, and we can make a class that's convenient for you. It's usually about 2 days, and we probably will have one both in June and July.
How can people get information about applying to be a lifeguard?
There's lots of places that you can call or go to. First of all, you can come here and talk to any of us, and we'd love to help you out and answer any questions you have. You could call the sports complex and talk to Susan Honeycutt. You could call the Parks and Rec, and they have information about anything that you would need to know. You could also call the Civic Center and talk to Carrie Elrod or Katie Woodworth. She's our lifeguard trainer.
All right, Grace and Lauren, thanks so much for taking time out of your day to do this interview with me. And on that note, back to you, Matt.
After taking his team to the state tournament, Rolla's head baseball coach has decided to step down. MARTY HAUCK will instead turn his attention to the burgeoning wrestling program. He's coached both programs for the past 2 years. Coach HAUCK has been afforded some new opportunities this summer that may require him to leave town for a while. He wants the baseball team to have a coach who can give it the attention it deserves. You've probably heard of Parents as Teachers, but do you know what the organization does in your community? We caught up with Rolla's PAT director, Laura Brown, to get the answer.
With Parents as Teachers, our primary mission is to educate parents so that they are truly just that. Parents as the teachers first. So early intervention we know is key, and so our mission is to provide families with opportunities to create experiences for their child to better prepare them for school. We specialize in home visits, so we meet with the families and students inside the home. We also provide annual screenings for all of our children that we see from the prenatal to kindergarten entry age. We host group connections or group meetings, and we host those all throughout the district. So we host playgroup at the center twice a week. We also host them in our local elementary schools, at our local parks and things like that. And finally, we also provide our families with resources. So we connect them with needed resources based on goal setting and needs that we find once we go into the home to do the group meeting or the visit. Our fundraiser is a team effort between the Rolla Chamber of Commerce and Rolla Books and Toys. The Parents as Teachers program provides Rolla Books with a suggested book list, and donators can come into Rolla Books and Toys and purchase books that are on the suggested list. They can leave a donation, and then that be turned back into purchasing books. We use those books in our parent visits, and so we give every new family a book, and we try to give every child a book on their first and second birthday. With these donations, that's usually very possible for us annually. Usually we pick up about 200 books or 250 books. We fill up a whole bookshelf in our office, and then our parent educators pick a book that's specifically designated for the child based on age or interest.
That's all for now. Thanks for watching the weekly recap. I'll see you next time. The weekly recap is brought to you by Rice Chopper, Cooking from Scratch, the UPS store of Rolla, Bayard Dodge in West Plains, and the Ozarks Medical Center.
You hear all the time that scammers are using different methods in order to attract you and to go ahead and reel you in and steal your money. Well, now they're actually using Facebook for grant scams. So they are continuing to con Facebook users out of thousands of dollars with phony government grants. You may be among the many Facebook users have been approached by supposed friends, which are claiming that you are eligible to receive a, quote, free U.S. government grant. In the end, there isn't a free government grant, but instead it's a part of a elaborate scheme to actually steal your personal information and money. Here's how the scam works. You're going to receive a message on Facebook detailing information about free grant money from the government. This message may come from somebody that you've recently added as a friend, or a family member, or even somebody you've known for many years. There's a big variety of ways it can come to you. But the message is always the same. It's going to reference other Facebook users, people in your friend list that have successfully received this grant, and then it's going to actually include a link to a local law office, as well as a phony government website, or even a real U.S. government website to appear legitimate. Now, sometimes a scammer is going to use the message to use your name and a photo of a real government official. So that's the name and the photo of somebody who's legitimate, who's a well-known public figure who maybe you've liked that person's page. So no matter how that message is sent to you, how it's worded, eventually you're going to ask to supply personal information and a payment for the processing fees. So we want for you to unfriend and block that person immediately. If it's somebody that you know, pick up the phone, call them, text them, let them know that they may have been compromised, and report the abuse to Facebook. Chances are they may not even know that they've been hacked. Now, according to our BBB scam tracker data, there have been 508 reports of Facebook government grant Those have been submitted within the last 3 years, those losses totaling more than $361,000. Now, Better Business Bureau always has more tips about how you can be safe. Here's what you can do right now. You can be careful with your friend requests from strangers. You know, we always want to have new friends, but keep your social networking friends to folks that you know outside of the social media platform. Make sure they're legitimate, not somebody you maybe just met online. Just be very cautious. If it is somebody, again, who's sending you this message, reach out to them in another way, like not online, just in person or on the phone or via text, and don't blindly trust your current Facebook friends. It is very easy nowadays, unfortunately, for some people to become hacked if they don't change their passwords, if they use very simple passwords like BBB123. So just be very careful. And if it seems out of character for them, well, chances are they've been hacked. Here is something else that you need to watch out for online. It is on LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn can do great things for you. It can help you reach out to colleagues, potential employers, and of course, stay connected professionally. But whenever people are connecting and sharing personal information, you know, scammers, they're right there too. So we've had tons of recent reports about personal loan scams using LinkedIn to target victims. Here's how the scam works. You're going to get a LinkedIn message that's offering you financial aid for a personal loan. It's going to appear to come from somebody who works for a legitimate company. You're going to check out their LinkedIn profile and it looks real. You might even have several LinkedIn connections in common. Now, some scammers are also going to set up a fake company website. So after receiving the message, the scam can take a couple of different approaches. In some cases, the scammers are going to ask for you to fill out a loan application with sensitive personal information and a copy of your ID and signature. Now, the goal here is to steal your identity. In a different version, you are easily approved for the loan. However, first you are asked to pay a processing fee by wire transfer. When you pay up, the scammer is going to take your money and disappear. So here's what you can do to avoid losing your money in this LinkedIn loan scam. So we want for you to make sure that you're checking and setting your LinkedIn privacy settings. You know, maybe limit it to which LinkedIn users can send you messages or connection requests. Don't accept every connection request you get. Check out the user's profile before connecting. Incomplete profiles and poor grammar, those are huge red flags. Remember, just because you have connections in common, it doesn't mean they're legitimate. Scammers frequently are creating a large network trying to gain their victims' trust. And of course, get loans from reputable establishments. We have BBB accredited banks. You can go to bbb.org and search bank as a type of business, and you can see which ones you know are trustworthy because they passed our 13 standards of accreditation. And of course, you can also check the letter grade of anybody, whether it's a BBB accredited bank or a credit union that isn't accredited or another bank that isn't accredited. You can also check out different ways to avoid falling victim to the scam. We have those tips on bbb.org, and you can file a scam report if this has happened to you.